right now, Europeans especially are paying for Russia's genocide in Ukraine with their dependence on Russian gas and oil. And then you have other nationalistic regimes like India that is buying up Russia's oil very cheaply and changing the label on it and trying to resell that oil on the world market, including the US. So then the US taxpayer becomes complicit in funding Russia's genocide in Ukraine. The US government is aware of a scheme out of India that is doing that, and there's law enforcement is cracking down on that. But the sooner we stand united, all the democratic allies around the world who are supporting Ukraine, the sooner we stand united in an all-out embargo on Russian oil and Russian gas and really turn off that dependency, the sooner you're going to be ushering in a renewable energy future. Because anytime you do an oil embargo, it's obviously very disruptive, and there's always going to be tricky loopholes with the bad guys determined to take advantage and try to sneak in and make their profits somehow. And they're always going to have complicit regimes trying to help them in that effort, and all sorts of useful idiots along the way inating that effort. But all of this should be a wake-up call that we need to put gas station dictatorships out of business, as we've been saying since the very start of the show. Because if you do that, if you usher in an era of renewable, sustainable energy, you're building a sustainable economy, and you're going to defang the bad guys out there. You're going to make not only Putin, but that murderous millennial MBS irrelevant. You're going to wipe the smug looks off their faces. Like, we need to see that happen in our lifetimes. It's not just as part of the climate emergency, but it's part of the greater human rights emergency that these dictators create.
It is so vile and disgusting what fossil fuel companies have been getting away with, since Russia's reinvasion of Ukraine, and what they've been getting away with in general, particularly over the last 40 years, where they fully knew the effects of climate change and decided that it was a wonderful way to profit from catastrophes, from man-made catastrophes. And something that's been concerning me about this is, first, we've seen a large amount of the Green New Deal and climate change initiatives abandoned. Like, we have had some progress. A couple weeks ago, they did manage to pass a greatly watered down version of the climate plan, which is still better than no climate plan at all. I think I saw a lot of climate scientists kind of torn because it's not enough, but it's more than has ever been done before, which is really an indictment of all the previous administrations for my entire lifetime, who fully knew that this was an urgent issue. And now we're unfortunately living with the consequences. One country left out of this question, I think Iran and Russia are great ones to bring up in terms of fossil fuels and dictatorship, and how fossil fuels enable dictatorship and vice versa. One left out is Saudi Arabia, which is another huge winner from this crisis. It's also a place where, Biden is out kissing MBS's ass after swearing that he would, become an international pariah for the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. And that's not what's happened. And I'm not sure it entirely has to do with gasoline. I think Israel is playing a big role here as well. But they certainly have been able to get away with an enormous number of human rights violations and state crimes and international crimes because they are a major fossil fuel producer. And the same is true of Russia. Iran actually is somewhat of a pariah. But, every country that's based on this type of economy, including in the United States, is allowed to get away with, absolutely abhorrent behavior.